this new scandal we uncovered tied to Ukraine. Ambassador Yovanovitch, who was the Obama-appointed ambassador who was withdrawn by President Trump this year, was seen as unfriendly to President Trump, all sorts of information that she was kind of an anti-Trumper. But we have information, and we had a source that said that just before she was withdrawn, she had directed her staff at the Ukraine embassy, and her staff was doing so, was monitoring American citizens close to Trump in violation of the law. Their social media posts. They're not allowed to do that under the law. And who were they targeting? This is interesting. It was the president's son, Donald Trump Jr. Let me get the list here. The president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. All sorts of Fox News people. All sorts of journalists like from OANN, the Daily Wire. Let me get the list here. I don't know where the list is. Public records request. Ah, yes. Jack Posobiec, who is with One America News Now, Donald Trump Jr., Laura Ingraham of Fox News, Sean Hannity, Michael McFaul, who was Obama's ambassador to Russia, the only non-Trump person here, Dan Bongino. Big Dan is he's a Fox News contributor, has a great podcast. Ryan Safidra, who works for the Daily Wire, I believe. Rudy Giuliani. Sebastian Gorka, the former Trump aide who now has a radio program. John Solomon, the intrepid reporter who's done so much good work on Ukraine and other issues. Lou Dobbs. Pamela Geller, who's another conservative activist online. And Sarah Carter, the investigative journalist. So you would think the media would be concerned that Judicial Watch has this report and investigation, well-sourced, that there was this illicit spying going on, but of course they don't, because it's all about targeting Trump. And they're actually like it when things like this happen. And that's the conclusion I draw based on their lack of interest in exposing the corruption. So we're investigating it. We filed a Freedom of Information Act request. And it's interesting, what did they want information on? They wanted to know when these folks posted social media postings in response to something about that had the keywords Ukraine, Biden, no, excuse me, the keywords Biden, Soros, Giuliani, and Yovanovitch. Isn't that interesting? Why would they care what these folks are saying about all those issues? Why would the ambassador to Ukraine be so concerned that they'd be willing to run up against and step over the line in terms of the rule of law to target these Americans with this spy operation? And no, it doesn't need to be private information to be illegal spying on Americans. You can have illegal targeting of public activities that is just as violative of your civil rights as someone tapping your phone. And now we have found the name, based on a good source, of the app they were using to do this. It's called, I want to be sure I got the name right, CrowdTangle. It's a tool used to closely watch social media. It was developed, or at least bought, by Facebook. And you can't access it. I mean, you may be able to access some of its features, but typically a left-wing Soros-funded organization called the Social Science Research Center is charged with determining who is granted access to CrowdTangle. Earlier this year, Facebook announced that SSRC, this Soros-funded group, will pick researchers who will gain access to its cherished privacy-protected data. Oh, wait, yes, and Soros was on the list of names they were concerned about too. Coincidence? I don't know. The statement assures us that Facebook did not play any role in the selection of individuals or their projects and will have no role in directing the findings or conclusions of the research. So evidently the government, the State Department, has agencies that were able to access this app that the general public is not able to access to target and spy on the social media postings of these individuals. You know, and I tell you, if I told you you were on this list, how would you react? You'd be pretty upset, wouldn't you? And if the Washington Post were being monitored like this, or the New York Times, or MSNBC, or CNN, you'd probably hear about it every night that the Trump administration was targeting them. But here we have a deep state-friendly, Obama-appointed, anti-Trump ambassador potentially illegally monitoring American citizens, journalists, the president's family, and his lawyer, and you don't hear a peep about it from the media. As I told you, they're liberal advocacy groups, and if facts come up that contradict their agenda, they don't even, it's even worse than lying about it, they don't even cover it to hide the information from you, the American people. So we've got the details on the name of the app. We've got the ties to Soros, about how many people are able to use it. But the bigger issue is that the government was using this resource, using your tax dollars, to spy on Americans because they were nervous about Biden and Soros being put out there in social media. It suggests to me that the coup, the impeachment inquiry, is about protecting people like Biden as opposed to targeting or being concerned about any alleged misconduct by President Trump. How do we know? We've proved it in our reporting.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.